Hi you guys, welcome to the Mommy Priestess channel where we talk about law of assumption and manifestation. So in this video, as you read in the title, we're going to be talking about deciding versus repeating, deciding versus affirming. And when I say affirming, I mean thoughts, okay? Your thoughts are affirmations. And it doesn't matter if you visualize, etc., you're still thinking in your favor, okay? So we're just going to say affirming. Deciding versus affirming. So I've seen some people in the community talk about this. They say, oh, well, just decide, just decide that you have it, decide that it's done, decide that it's yours. Or some people say, I just decided and it happened. And I do feel that that can happen. Instant manifestation can happen. Of course it is. I'm never going to try to limit you guys, okay? I'm never going to tell you, oh, sorry about this fly. I'm never going to tell you, oh, well, you can't just decide. You can't just decide. It doesn't work like that. Okay, but I do want to make it understandable to people that are confused by that, or to people that feel that they can't do that, okay? So deciding, I feel like when people say they just decide and they don't even affirm for it, they just affirm for it once and they get it fast, I feel like it's usually the things that they are not resistant to. That is the things that they can just decide and affirm for it once and it happens, because they don't have that many opposing thoughts to it. Because you have to remember that our thoughts, our most dominant thoughts, make up our dominant state, and your dominant state is what manifests. Okay, your dominant thoughts make up your dominant state, and that is what manifests. So your dominant thoughts, to keep it simple, your dominant thoughts are what are going to manifest. So if you're manifesting something that you've been so resistant to, that you've had complete opposite things happen to you, that you have so many limiting beliefs to, your limiting beliefs and your opposing thoughts make up your resistance to it, okay? So if you have a lot of resistance to something, it's gonna feel harder to just decide. Just decide. Like, let's say you've always been poor, okay? You were always poor. You always struggled with money. You're gonna have so many limiting beliefs and opposing thoughts, negative opposing thoughts when it comes to money. Let's say you're poor and you're manifesting being a millionaire, and you're like, oh, let me just decide. Let me just decide that I am a millionaire now. It's gonna seem so weird to you and your subconscious mind. That is why repetition, for the things that you're very resistant to, I would say, in my experience, repetition is more helpful, because that is the way that you manifested it in the first place. That is the way that it became your dominant state, your dominant thoughts in the first place. You repeated it so much, you experienced it so much. You experienced things that went to that state of being poor. You experienced that so much that story is so reinforced in you. Okay, you are like a programming. Your subconscious mind, it is what shows you your experience. It pushes out that experience, okay? It just keeps repeating the same experiences to you because it's programmed. You are like a program. Your subconscious mind is like a program. So to things, a lot of people say, well, I just decided and I manifested it. A lot of the times it's because it was things that their brain was already used to it. Their subconscious mind already had good experiences to it. So it was already saturated with the idea of being able to have it. It didn't have that many limiting beliefs to it or opposing thoughts to it. So that is why they were able to just decide and get it. Okay? But think about it. How were they able to get to that place where they could just decide? Either they saturated their mind with just being able to decide, or they already had good experiences with it. They already had good experiences with the things they wanted to manifest. They didn't have that many limiting beliefs and opposing thoughts that had to do with that manifestation. And that is why they were just able to decide. So I really don't like that take that people have, because I feel like it's misguiding people. It's misguiding people. And it's confusing people. And it's making people feel like, well, why can't I just decide? Why is it so hard? Like, I decided, but I just can't. Like, I keep having so many opposing thoughts to it. Yeah, because you're programmed that way. So you need to reprogram yourself. That is why you need to repeat it. The subconscious mind reprograms itself with the repetition, with the saturation of the new idea. That is how your mind became saturated in the first place. You experienced it for so many years. You heard it for so many years, or you thought it for so many years, etc., or you said it for so many years. You know what I mean? And your subconscious took it as truth. and that is what was pushed out to you. So that is why when people say just decide, that isn't always the most helpful thing. And it's I feel like it makes it harder for people that have always been broke and are manifesting money, that have always had bad luck in relationships and are manifesting the person that they want. It's honestly harder to just decide if you have so many limiting beliefs with it, if you've had so many bad experiences to it. To just decide, it's a lot easier to be like, okay, if I saturate my mind, I will get it. I will experience something different, because that's what I did in the first place. That's what I did in the first place, because you've always been manifesting. So if you saturate your mind with a new idea, new statements, new thoughts, new things that you listen to, etc., then your subconscious is going to take that in and push that out to you. Okay, so that is why I feel like it's confusing for people to say, just decide. Oh, I just decided. Yeah, you have probably had good experiences with that. That is why you could just decide. Or you probably don't have opposing thoughts or so many limiting beliefs. You don't have that much resistance. So you were able to do that because your dominant thoughts manifest. So if your dominant thoughts about the specific topic are all opposing, then you need to be reaffirming what you want. You need to be repeating the positive thoughts about it, the favorable thoughts about it. Your dominant thoughts are what's going to manifest. That is why I don't find that helpful, and I find that more confusing, especially to people that don't understand manifestation, people that are trying to manifest and they're like, well, they said to just decide. How do I just decide something that I've never had? Like, how do I just decide it if I keep thinking against it? Like, yeah, you keep thinking against it because that's what your mind is used to. You keep thinking against it. You keep getting those, your subconscious mind keeps pushing out those opposing thoughts because that's what you're used to. It's what you're used to. It's what it's trained with. So you have to retrain it. You have to retrain it and repeat. Every time you get those opposing thoughts, go back to your new story. That is why I feel saturating and repeating. If it's a fact that the subconscious mind is reprogrammed through repetition. So why wouldn't you just repeat? If you feel that you're not resistant to something and you want to just affirm it once, and you feel that conviction, you feel confident about it because you're not resistant to it. You're not getting opposing thoughts to it. You don't feel that it's impossible for you. You're used to it, basically. You're used to it. Your mind is used to it. You've already had good experiences with it, or you just don't really have limiting beliefs against it. So you can just decide for those certain things. Like for me, for example, I manifested getting into nail school. I literally just decided, this was before I found out about the law. I just decided like, oh, I know they're gonna get me. You know, like I affirmed it maybe like a few times without knowing. I was like, I know they're gonna get me. But you know why? Because in school, I always had good grades. I had good experiences with schooling. So I didn't have very many limiting beliefs or opposing thoughts to it. That's why I could just decide. But for things you're very resistant to, it's more helpful, and you're usually going to need, I'm not gonna say you need to, but usually it's going to be more beneficial for you to be repeating and saturating the new idea. Because the more you repeat, the less opposing thoughts you're gonna have. The more you repeat your new story, the less your subconscious mind is gonna be looping the opposing thoughts, okay? And it's gonna become your new norm, and that's what you're gonna experience. Just how you manifested the old, just how you manifested what you're going. My storage is about to get full, you guys. But anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about today mainly. I intend that helped. I intend that made sense. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down below, or any video suggestions, okay? And I'm sending you guys many, many blessings. Bye.